My name is Bamishabi Samson. I'm the e-tutor for CSA 206 Human Computer Interaction. We are still in section 4, course unit 5, which is the last unit of this course. That is, after this unit, it shows that we have covered the entire syllabus of this course. Human-computer interaction in hypertext, multimedia, and the World Wide Web. At the end of this unit, it is expected that students will be able to understand hypertext, multimedia, or hypertext animation, video and audio effects, web technology issues, network issues. The web content could be made static by unchanging pictures and text, or made dynamic with interaction and applications on the web. So, human-computer interaction in hypertext, multimedia, and the World Wide Web. It is enable you to find information by navigating the hyperspace using the web technology. Hypermedia is not just text, but hypertext system containing additional media such as illustrations, photos, photographs, videos, and sound. The web contains protocols, browsers, web server, clients, and a lot of networks. The challenges remain a loss in hyperspace and information overload. The advantage of this option is an interactive database access, the availability of bandwidth, and the security of data problem issue to be resolved. The software process of human-computer interaction. The software process comprises the following: the software engineering and design process for interactive system, usability engineering, interactive design and prototyping, recording the design knowledge using design rationale. Software engineering is the discipline for understanding the software design process or life cycle. The design for usability occurs at all stages of the life cycle, not as a single isolated activities. Understanding the hypertext. Hypertext enable you to find information by navigating the hyperspace using web technology. Hypertext is made up of rich content of graphic, audio, video, computation, and interaction text. Look at this illustrative diagram. This is text, or is it hypertext? Only link can tell. So just look at it then. In some cases, hypertext imposes strict progression on the reader, but in most cases, it is not linear as shown in the diagram below. Look at this diagram too. So from the above, we can see that the non-linear structure contains block of text pages with link between pages that create a mesh or network. These users follow their own path from the information desired, meaning that requesting for information in hypertext environment or in a hyperspace, it does not really follow linear format. It follows different channels to be able to achieve the type of information each user require or desire. Multimedia and hypertext multimedia. Multimedia is sometimes also called hypermedia. The term can also be used for multiple audio and video effects. Hypermedia is not just text, but hypertext system containing additional media such as illustrations, photographs, video, and sound. Links and hotspots may be in media with their pictures, the times, and locations of a video. Animation. Animation is adding motion to images, particularly image on things that change in time. Examples are digital faces that takes seconds to tick, pass, or warp into place, an analog face with hand swept around the clock face. Animation comprises live display for showing status and progress, flashing characters, text, entry, location, busy consoles in form of hourglass, clock, and spinning disc, and progress bar. Animation are used for education and training, making students see things happen through introduction of interesting and entertaining images. Used for data visualization by creating visualization is done using animated in science, complex molecules, and views on the screen. Animated characters are useful in video and audio effects. The current technology on improving tools are now available to editing sound. They are easy to embed in web page. The memory occupied could be mad. It can, however, affect the download and sometimes frustrating. It may be hard to add link in iPad. Using animation and video animations and video are potentially arcade games. But how do we harness the full position order to gain more experience through theorists and cartoonists, artists, and writers? Interactive hypertext. Using computer for processes, illustrative interactions. Research for a particular book. Look for the book, Puzzle Square. The e-commerce. 2. Professor Alan Puzzle Square. Then 3. Delivery technology. Then this is the page. You can see that in a web page we have different interactive sections here. So these are things that they want you to get familiar with. On the computer, the help system in Hypermedia are installed on hard disk with application in CD-ROM or DVD base. The same information can be obtained from the web since many applications has a web-based documentation. This application can as well be delivered on the move as long as you are connected to the internet using mobile platforms such as mobile phone, PDA, personal digital assistants, or laptop computer, Wi-Fi access points, or mobile phone network containing tiny web link like page can be used for home and wear. 4. Tourist guide and directed advertising. 5. Rapid prototyping. Creates in of live storyboarding and mock-up interaction are done using link. 6. The help and documentation allow hierarchical content and keyboard section or browsing. Then 7. Just-in-time learning. What you want when you want it, such as link a technical manual for a photographer and technical obtain work. linked to their definition are done on the web. You can as well obtain against link between similar photocopiers. 8. In education, animation and graphic allow students to see things happen. Sound effects, art, atmosphere, and diagram can be looked at while listening to explanation. The non-linear structure of the web allows students to explore at their own pace. Then 9. E-learning provides education out of the classroom, as e-class is shown in the picture below. Lostness in hyperspace. To avoid getting lost in hyperspace while finding information, use structure and navigation with the aid of history, bookmark, indices, directory, and searching algorithm. The non-linear structure of the web is very powerful but potentially confusing. There are two aspects of lostness: cognition and content that creates fragmental information. There is also a lack of information integration, thereby creating a confusion. Good design helps navigation and structure, where hyperlink move across structure. Designing structure. Designing good structure entails task analysis for activities and processes in existing organizational structure. In making navigation easier, create map to give an overview of the structure and to show current location. Also, provide recommended routes as guided tour or bus tour metaphor as a linear path through a non-linear structure. To support printing your navigated information, you need a linearized content. History and bookmarks also ease navigation because they allow hub and spoke access with a lot of revisiting of pages. Bookmarks and favorites are good for longer time revisiting. Frames are difficult to bookmark, search and link to, except there are good reasons for it to use. It is not recommended. Using indices, directory, and search. Indices are often found on help, documentation, and book. Selective but non-exhaustive list of words are used in index. Directory on web index will be very huge. So manually choose site of navigation, e.g. an Open Directory project or Yahoo. Using web search engines make you crawl the web by following link from page to page. Search engine build full word index but ignore common tool and to carry out its search. It look up your request in index when you enter keyword to find pages. Conducting complex search. Conducting a complex search involves too many pages for a single word search. There is a need to be more selective. You can use a Boolean search method that combines word with logic, e.g. if you want to find facts about engine, only write engine and or not. And or not is in the Boolean expression. You have done it in your logic in creating a link structure. Google a search engine using richness of in and out of link to rank pages. To be search engine friendly, add meta tags, relevant title, keywords, and description. Note that it is hard to index generated pages for a hidden web. Finding research literature involves special portals and search sites such as CITES. Searches for literature paper require scanning the paper for bibliography to build up citation index, such as in the diagram below. So biblical backward in terms. So you can just look at how complex search is being conducted. Web server, client, and a lot of network. The web contains protocols, browsers, and standard. Protocols such as HTTP, which is Hypertext Transmission Protocol. Web activities involve using protocol, the internet, HTML, Hypertext Text Markup Language. Then XML that carry information on graphic format for content browser to view the result, and a lot of extended markup language and plugin. Changing use of this internet. Research by SAN for their high energy physical research, but all over initially the internet was created for e-government, commerce, entertainment, and advertising the world. It is now used by corporate community. The challenges remain a loss in hyperspace and information overload. Web server and clients. The web is distributed with different machines far across the world. Pages are stored on servers. The browsers, the client, are asked for pages that are sent to and fro across the internet as illustrated in the picture below. What they are simply saying is that web server and clients operate in space, and many pages were stored in different servers. Then when the client is requesting for all these pages, they arrive from different servers to present as if they are in one unit to the client, which is not always in different, and they use different protocols to achieve this. This one will be well taught during your web design approach, and then your networking. The network issue: timing, volume of data transmission, quality of service, QoS. This term describes the quality of service provided by the network. If there is no enough bandwidth, definitely the request will be the time between the request and the time between response will be very, very slow. The following comprise the quality of service. They are not telling us what are responsible for us to have a quality service. Bandwidth. This is how much of information transmitted per second. Latency. This is how long the transmission takes, otherwise called delay. Then jitter. This is how consistent the delay is. Then reliability. Here are some messages may be lost and needed to be resent. This increases jitter and then the connection setup. Hence, it needs to handshake to start. Handshake to start. Network issue, timing and volume. Then the illustration of bandwidth, latency, jitter is given in the accompanying diagram. That is, when you send, the bandwidth, how the bandwidth behaves, that is per second. Then the latency, then the jitter, the delay that happens, then how how it receives the information, the time taken. The signing implication of the web. While the signing issue consider the bandwidth and hence about the download time, an image of 100 kilobytes may be transmitted in 1 second, also called broadband, and a 56 kilobyte by modem may transmit in 18 seconds. Hence, the need to save graphics in appropriate format and size at the same graphics could be reused in the browser cache. So the after first load To reduce the connection time, use the big file at a time in a data transfer than using several small ones. Beware of fit on one screen rule because scrolling is fast. Think before breaking big graphic into bits. In latency, think about feedback. So, WAP, Wireless Advanced Protocol. This describes the web activities on the phone as illustrated in the below. The phone is made up of very small screen and the scrolling of data could be very painful because the screen displays more page at a time. A GSM connection is considerably slow with big chunks. Operation is carried out using wireless markup language whose content is delivered in stack or card. The card are the pages the user view, but navigation within the stack is fast. Note before, with larger screen and faster connection, wireless markup language is giving way to small HTML pages. See illustration below. Stack web content. This is a medium and a message comprising text, graphic, movie, and sound. The message and the medium content is king because it is the catchphrase of the .com era, but widely ignored. The message content should be appropriate to the audience, should be timely, reliable, and generally worth reading. The medium page site design should be a good design that is essential to attract readers. A bad design may mean good material but is never seen. The content should be printable. Text. The text style should be universal, generic style, such as serif, sans, and fixed, bold, and interlinked. You can use specific fonts too, but this should vary between platforms. Use cascading style sheets for the fine control, but beware of older browsers and fixed font size for compatibility because color are often abused. Be careful about your choice of color. Text positioning should be easy. It could be left, right, justify, or center. You should remember that DHTML, dynamic hypertext markup language, requires precise positioning, so beware of platform. You should also take note of the screen size. Remember that mathematical oriented text requires special fonts and layout. Graphic should be used with care considering, for example, the file size and download time. For example, the image above is made up of 1,000 words of text and is affected by size, number of colors, and file format. Add little background because too many backgrounds often make text hard to read. Speeding up transmission of graphics requires caching and to be able to reuse the same graphics. Using progressive formats makes the image to appear in low resolution and the image also gets clearer as shown below. Use JPEG for photograph as shown above. For higher but losing compression, use GIF, graphic image format. For sharp edge and losses compression, use PNG format as supported by current web browser for action. Use animated GIF for simple animation and image map for image use can click on. Sample icon are displayed below. They are just small image on the web used for bullet and decoration or to link to other pages. There are a lot availables. The design of icon is just like any other interface that needs to be understood. So icon should be designed as collection to fit the web. A website under construction is a sign of the inherent completeness of web color. Decide from the beginning how many color your website is to contain. The PC monitor is made to display millions of colors, each comprising 24 bits per pixel, but the same color may look very different. Web colors are usually expressed in dip per inch. Other computer, PDA and phone can tolerate perhaps only 16-bit or 8-bit per pixel. From the color palette, you can choose up to 256 different useful colors, although Netscape WebSave, movie and sound. The problem of size and download are worse in movie and sound compared with graphics, so they require special plugin. The problems are not prominent with audio, however, because some have some compact formats such as MIDI. With streaming video, you can play while downloading and can be used for broadcast radio or TV illustration. Dynamic web content. This content shows what happened, what happens were. With technology and security, it enables a local interaction and effective searching through remote access and batch generation of pages of data content. It is of dynamic in delay, in months or in year. The article. In the early days of the web, pages at content text were static page. Some gateways such as FTP, Gopher enable usability, thereby making interaction easy on one simple model. A dynamic content has a model or metaphor with passive pages but active interface. Each lead to different user understanding. The architectural design of the web is about what happened where. The design has one, a feedback in which a user can see the result of his own action. Two, a feed-through effect in which effect of other people's actions are seen. Note that the effect of the design is reflected on the complexity of the implementation and its maintenance. The concern of the designer from the user point of view are the changes to be made in the design during use in terms of media stream. The presentation and the content, it should be guided by following questions. Are these done automatically? By whom would the changes be made? The site author, the user, or other users through a feed-through? And how often is the page of changes seconds? Security of the web. For computational function, the code and data should not be at the same place. The problem that needs to be addressed on security includes the security of data, the safety of the web server, and the client machine that is the most vulnerable, and of course, the entire network. Local interaction at the client side, yes, the user, the machine, then the page from the web. For a fixed content interaction, the user interacts locally through his machine by the use of Java applets, Flash, JavaScript, dynamic hypertext markup language in fixed content interaction. or a rapid feedback occur, but interaction is local and there is no feed through. Look at the page. The picture above shows that the coin race used JavaScript while the dancing histogram set of interactive stack histogram that depicts the same trend for each fruit type are Java applets. This picture below demonstrates the process of the user conducting a web search. The user, the machine, then the search through the several server. And you can see the advice. They said the code server should be different from data server to prevent for security. Indices are created offline before commencement of search. For automatic generation of data, you need database-driven sites. The available options of tools that can be used are the client-end applets or flash access remote DB database using the server-end CGI that is driven by web forms with limited user interface. However, hybrid solutions that could be optionally utilized are the CGI generated page that can contain JavaScript, etc. JavaScript can write web page dynamically. And we also have many languages today that can as well do that aside JavaScript. Look at the following picture, a situation of the Java applet and JPC accessing the database. So just look at it, the user in the machine, then the advantage of the option in an interactive database access. However, the availability of the bandwidth and the security of data are problem issues to be resolved. The picture below also depicts the situation in which the CGI script access the database. The user, you can see, still see the explanation. The advantage here is that the database is always what? Current with use of data information. It is disadvantage is the non-proximity of the web server, and that access is not index friendly. Batch generation of the web page of data. Batch generation of data is for slow and verifying data that is updated through a local database. Here, pages are periodically generated before upload. Many technologies are involved in batch generation, and they include the use of object-oriented language such as C, Java, Hypertext, and Visual Basic. Illustration of batch generation of you can see the simple illustration of it. The user, the machine, the web server, return generated pages, then the page copy from the database, then the page generated offline from database. Advantage of this option are that the generated batches are index-able and secure. Disadvantage is it is slower turnaround. So dynamic content. Dynamic content are really active web page in which data is updated as well as presented on the web. The data presentation could be made in any of the means discussed previously using CGI applet. The update is done through the web form interface using the server script that updates the database, as in the example of that carried out in the updating of book theater set. The issue of concern in the design of this type of interaction are the authenticate on and security problem due to multiple transactions. Using the anti-architecture, the HTML, the XML, and GDBC, web server, enterprise server, and database, as illustrated, the picture contains one or more intermediate layers with the logic in layers. The web is made up of standard bus component and protocol. So, in conclusion, the challenges of the human-computer interaction in Hypertext multimedia and the World Wide Web remain a loss in hyperspace and information overload. Also, the availability of bandwidth and the security of data are problem issues to be resolved. Some hypertext enable you to find information by navigating the hyperspace using the web technology. Multimedia is sometimes called hypermedia and can be used for simple audio and audio effect. The hypermedia is not just text but hypertext system containing additional media such as illustration, photographs, video, and sound. Animation is adding motion to images, particularly images on things that change in times. History and bookmark is navigation because they allow hub and spoke access with a lot of revisiting of pages. Bookmark and favorite are good for longer time revisiting. The web contains protocols, browser, web servers, clients, and a lot of networking. Web activities involve using protocols and standards. Protocols such as hypertext transmission protocol that carry information over the internet, then hypertext markup language and extended markup language and graphic formats for content browser to view the result and a lot of plugins. Wireless advanced protocol describe the web activities on the phone web icon as small images on the web used for bullet and decoration or to link to other pages. Dynamic content is active widget in which data is updated as well as presented on web batch generation of web pages of data. It is for slow and verifying data that is updated through a local database. Thank you for listening. We have come to the end of this course, and try as much as possible to do all the discussion forum, all the class assessments, then all the quiz that is set under this course. We'll see you soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.